Welcome to my channel. My name is Wilberforce, and I really want to impact your life financial through empowering you with the right knowledge and skills. All you have to do is to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell icon so that you don't miss any of my future videos. Let's begin with online bootcamp themed USD Billionaires at 45 to see the possibility of having your mindset focused to this milestone. The presenter is Dr. Henry Clark Kasembo, and the bootcamp is mainly focused on responding to my intriguing questions. I asked in reference to Dr. Henry's post in the professional networking group we share. Is it magic to have USD Billionaires at 45? Where are you in this journey, and what should you do? Let's see.
Dr. Henry is a global chief managing partner of Dari Group. He operates and holds different positions on many global companies. He serves as a technical advisor for USAID. He serves on US Africa Trade Commission as the vice president. And Dr. Henry started his businesses early in his childhood and has gotten experience in business. He's one of the billionaires and, of course, a reason why he's the suitable candidate to facilitate this masterclass. He holds 2 doctorates in finance, economics, doctorate in finance development, masters in public admin, and most different certificates and degrees. So let's welcome Dr. Henry Kasembo to take us through his life experience in business that has expanded over 25 years with his achievements of billions of money before 45 and guide us through how he made it in life. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, all those who are logged in here, and also those who are logged on through different media. We have a number of media channels that have looked in. It was purposefully set a number of weeks ago to have this masterclass on this specific day, all of us to share our experiences and see how we can together continue to collaborate and build each other as a network. My first business was at the age of 7. I was vending milk in one of the most lethal ghettos. But somehow to make ends meet, and also I think by 10 already had about 30 stations with each having somebody running it. Fast forward, had my hand in different little bit of businesses here and there while juggling school. At 20, I was already holding my first degree, my bachelor's, and going into the telecom industry was driven by 3 principles. One was socio-economic transformation of nations. The second one was wealth creation. And the third one was to defy gravity. This is exactly what is on the subject matter. Building legacy billionaire wealth isn't magic. It's corporate resilience, doing more with less, and making breakthrough changes for long-term success. When one reads that statement, they'll see it on the surface, but I'll break it down into depth. My colleague and a very highly respected person, I know that the conversation, which has also been posted on chat, started within the network, where I challenged the network members that are you aware that you can be a billionaire in USD and silent, humble, and calm before making 45? So a number of questions, it triggered a number of conversations and discussions on the platform. But I know on this platform, members who are way beyond that. So this is not confined to 45. That even up to 75 plus, you can still practice the key aspects that I have come over 25 years of business across different sectors, and also starting the company Dali from a very rural setting in Kenya on a veranda, which was my office, on a rainy day, to a global entity in 101 days. And Mr. Billy is one of our senior technical advisors who runs the region, along coast region. But when I say that a billion is not magic, I'm very sure that he understands, and everybody will understand what I mean, because he knows the capacity at which we operate to invest into companies, to invest into governments, lend governments money, and also socio-economic transformation programs. We don't promote, we don't market, we don't advertise. It is highly referral, and on our website you'll never find any of the projects put there because they are highly classified due to their values. So you're very welcome. I'm sure you've read what is on the chart. Maybe just to let you know a little bit that we are working 16 sectors. Oil and gas, we're into mining, we're into ICT, we're into fashion and apparels, we're into infrastructure development, energy, 16 sectors. I think everything anyone sees, even housing, real estate, we are into it. But as Dali, we try as much as possible to keep a very low, humble profile because of where we started. That is a principle, and also giving back to community, because 30% of all our revenues goes back. We don't call it donations, and you never hear any Delhi person, 1,658 people. No one ever says a donation. We say we invest in communities because there must be a return on investment, which may calculate in numbers. For example, out of this investment, how many children have gone through school? How many persons have started micro, small, and medium enterprises? When we built a highway, how many businesses or traffic has it attracted? So for us, we call ourselves humanitarian capitalists. That said, I just want to get you very quickly through the background to this conversation. This is the plan that we are following, and we shall ensure that we are within time to have enough time for plenary session. So I just landed on this picture. that may look faint, but at least it is visible that a gold road Hell's Gate. And I was thinking that, okay, how many people can imagine that this exists, or can envisage themselves as part of this? That they are arrows. The one arrow which comes from the left, the arrow shows bags of money. And there are people getting that money.
I don't see it here, the diagram.
Oh, you're not? Is everybody seeing it?
Not seeing it.
Yes, we cannot see it.
Corporate masterclass.
I only see the corporate masterclass. I don't see this presentation that you are referring to, the picture or the diagram.
Okay, so let me just stop sharing here. Okay, so perhaps we'll keep it at that, then doing a slideshow, because a slideshow covers the whole space. So if you can see that and you're comfortable with it, we can proceed with it, right? Okay, so we go to this picture, which says that have billionaires complete the purchase, a gold road tile, job available at the Billionaires Club to one gold road. So when you think through it, and the other statement is purchase one gold road tile each day when you can afford it. And remember, billionaires prefer not to be rushed. Very profound. Because on the right hand, of different ages. On the left side are also people of different ages. What this picture shows is that on the left are the billionaires, on the right are those thriving or looking towards getting to that billionaires club. But also it leads us to a gold road, that the gold road does not just show up. You chase a tile a day. And when they say billionaires prefer not to be rushed, it speaks a lot. That perseverance, patience, and a lot is happening behind the scenes that many may not really know. What they see is what is on the surface. But behind the scenes, there's a lot. And I'll explain that further. So, this is what triggered this conversation. And I think it's already on the chat. That I raised an issue that you see billionaires at 45. And I say that I'm going to be clear, I mean self-made ones, not inherited, stolen or foul play. If by 45 years of age, you have never smelled $1 million US, chances are you will never in your whole lifetime, unless you stop calculating the financial benefits from whatever you do and focus on how do you solve problems first and building social capital. by 45 years. If you never master that rule, by 55 to 75 years, only, and I mean only, a few cents will be your circles and life. I caution, don't ask me my net worth. Just go and Google all my silent networks. That was triggering a conversation on the network. So somebody says, one of the network members, assuming you have been assigned a young African at the age of 30, 45 as his mentor, who has been struggling to chase his way out financially and has never smelled $10,000 in his life, yet he, as a Christian, believes in the biblical story of Sarah, who gave birth at 90 years, right? Do you consider him doomed, or what could be your approach to awaken and change his mindset to realize this new era, and most particularly the relevance of your post in his life? Once I get this response, it will serve me for over a month. That was a network member. So I did respond, and I intended to give this verbatim. It may look so packed a slide, but it was intentional. I said that I would put him under my mentorship, take him through a series of teacher and entrepreneur eyes, move with him around my circles and network as his mindset transforms from self-pity and complacency. Now watch out those words, from self-pity and complacency. I offer a commission-based trading pipeline or dashboard. He has to commit 14 hours a day and ensure all my trading clients' consignments are arranged and delivered on time with enhanced public relations, transactional skills. By week 3, we have delivered the goods. It doesn't matter which country, and no transactions. For instance, petrochemicals, minerals, organic fertilizers, delivered payments come 3 months after all the invoices by clients. On payday, assuming I pay him 3% of each transaction, multiply by 5 deal flows. That's 15%. For the 10%, I teach him how to trade and invest through my business networks. 5% he can do whatever he wants. I actually could offer him a stake in one of my subsidiaries. Even if it's one, he will never back unless defies God's ways of life and he becomes greedy. One of the reasons for that never get anybody to sustain Billionaire or Millionaire Club is greed. Greed leads to temptation. Temptation leads to pride. Pride leads to self-aggrandizement. Self-aggrandizement leads to a shortcut that you can't maintain. Where do you end up? You end up stealing or cheating national resources or coffers. And it doesn't matter what whoever believes here. Me, I believe from a spiritual angle that marks the beginning of your downfall. So He continued and said that, what's his investment? I just said simply that obedience, critical analysis, emotional and social intelligence, business intuition can withstand the highest level of pressure and remain sober, plus zero tolerance to complacency. And the jokers, not first-class degrees. This was very intentional. I have the statistics I can equally share. That over 93% people who are millionaires in dollars never smelt anything like a first-class degree. But they employ the first-class degree holders. So it's not about what is in the books, it's about the reality in which we are going to go through because I need to get that point. Your insights are thought provoking and have inspired me to dig deeper into the topic. Like your emphasis on mindset transformation and integrity in spiritual principles is commendable. Could you elaborate on how you would facilitate this transformation and which spiritual principles would guide your mentorship? Some questions you have to be very, very careful and understand the background from which they're coming. And they say that additionally, your mention of exposure to your circles and networks is intriguing. What specific opportunities arise from these connections? I am also curious about transparency and fairness in your commission-based trading pipeline. I would like to know how you would ensure these principles are up, especially for individuals new to trading. The person continues to say another one that 14 hours a day of but is weird. Is recommended way to rest success. Do you think it could yield health or mental problems in future like stress, or it is a perfect solution to ambitious soul? Furthermore, your commitment to empowering mentees with trading and investment skills through your business networks is inspiring. Provision of examples of strategies or resources you could use to educate and support mentees in these areas would be insightful to me. That was one of the network members also adding. Another said that regarding offering stakes in subsidiaries, how would you determine the best fit for mentees? And what criteria would you consider when making the offers? Your emphasis on ethical and spiritual principles resonates with me. How would you integrate these principles into a mentorship program and ensure mentees uphold them through their journey? Lastly, I presume accommodating high level of pressure, great effort towards joining the SD Billionaire Club. Is there a time frame one should work under pressure to achieve what he wants in life? I'm eager to learn more about your approach and embark on this journey together financial success while upholding our values and principles. So let's work together to make meaningful grace. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us ponder on those questions for a second. Those are very pertinent questions, and that is what I want to race through. Then we go to plenary, just in case anybody wants any clarity. I think the starting point is the mindset and attitude towards how many hours you should work and how many hours should push you, and also when looking at these hours, uh, do you sacrifice anything else? There is a masterclass I normally give about the 360-degree chart of life, where I say there is a percentage to family, percentage to you time when you are alone, because no billionaire in their diary has a packed diary to the point of not having time to think. Even if calls come in 100 of them, they will not bother. There is time for meditation. There is time to offer voluntary work. There is also time for socializing and entertainment. There is time to just to sleep. Who determines that 8 hours, as doctors say, and no qualms or offense, doctors say 8 hours. Warren Buffett does 6 hours, and that's too refreshing for him. Bill Gates does 5 hours. That's very refreshing for him. And that is straight sleeping. I've met other people who say, 4 hours refresh me. Because my mind at that time has wiped out all thoughts, all adversity, and I get to bed, sleep, get up, I'm ready to start moving. So imagine you have 24 hours. Allah or the higher power, whatever power you call it, gave each one thing in common. Anyone alive, that you have a 24-hour clock. The determinant of those who make it from thousands to 100,000s to millions to billions is the 24 hours. How was your upbringing for the start? How were you raised? Were you raised for white collar, that you earn 8 to 5 o'clock, that's the time to work? And I mean, how did you come to be what you are, whether 45 or 75, or even 30, like one of the people asked? That is very important. And if you realize that methodology is not working for you, then you start rethinking how you're going to approach life and how you're going to structure your life. I can assure you that I resigned a senior management job at a top telecom corporate when I was 22, at the peak of having initiated one of the products that has taken the world, and almost everywhere around the world, that product has been replicated. What happened is the background. To me, life was about survival for the fittest. If you can't predict what you're going to have to eat tomorrow, then you have to figure it out, even if it means midnight. So if I ran my first business at 7, there must be a reason that got me into that. That at 7, you're running a milk vending business, but also you're in an environment where it's survival for the fittest, and you have to gain respect. Those who know the code in ghettos know the number one code is respect. How you gain it, that also is another chapter, because there are gangs, there are drugs, there are prostitutes, there is alcohol, there is retail, there is money laundering, there is everything. Remember, one boy, one mother, 5 sisters. And I have to defend the sisters when I'm a very slender, skinny person. My mind was to gain respect in this area. All these guys somehow are in these weird businesses for money. Start something legit. Good thing I had an auntie who trained as a teacher. She taught 1 year, and I used to visit her many times and try to understand how she could give up on teaching to start hanging on trucks. I mean, like, she hangs on a truck just to supply materials. She told me, whether I teach for 50 years, it will never equate to what I'm going to earn in 5 years. I told her, teach me business. Teach me business is about discipline. I told her, what's discipline? I mean, if we are well behaved, you're disciplined already. She says that, no, you must have the discipline to know where you're going. That is the starting point. Look very far. Right now you're 6. You're beginning to talk about business. Maybe you should travel with me once in a while. And then next year, we can see what to start for you. And that stuck. Because she asked me, okay, after being with you for 6 months, do you want in the far future? I told her that, auntie, by the time I get to 70, 80, 85, I want to transform this whole community and build a city, a state-of-the-art city. And all these vices happening here will end. She told me, good. Now, how do you intend that? I said, by making money. But how do you make money? Because what about school? I told her that I can balance the school, and I can balance school and juggle business also on the side. She said, great. So, what do you need most? I need my family to know what they're going to have tomorrow. I need them to know what, that they'll go to school, they'll be in class, the next day, and to her she was okay. That is what we call short-term, mid-term, long-term goals. Now you're very clear. Here is your initial capital, the vending milk vending. Incidentally, I'm freestyling, so I hope you have your notebooks and you're taking notes of the key points. So as you grow in the business aspect, you begin to realize that you don't wake up a billionaire. It is a step by step, right? That you can't, unless if you inherit or you hit a jackpot. And I've never seen any wealthy jackpot winner. If there is one on this forum, please, whom you know, whom you've researched on, raise it. Personally, I don't know any jackpot winner who has ended up maintaining a billionaire status for more than 2 years. They run down, and when they run down so bad. So what are we talking about? We are talking about your mind and attitude. The first thing is seize opportunity. Opportunity is not where there are greener pastures. Opportunity starts from your neighborhood. That's what I learned. I started milk vending in my hood. By the time I got 30 stations, at 10, the big bullies, the guys with the guns and everything, had the highest level of respect because I call the shots if you need money. I'll tell you, identify a place, I invest. And the milk business has grown. That's a totally different chapter because it has transformed into many things that today we deal globally into milk cooling machines and also storage. The entrepreneurial eyes. I already say that I have a debate with myself that is everybody meant to be an entrepreneur? And I'm like, it depends on how you define entrepreneur. Because entrepreneur is being a creative, innovative, thinking out of the box, staying new spheres of life. So you need those entrepreneur eyes to be able to pick on to see what others don't see. The rubbish that others are kicking around, you collect it, and before you know it, you have enough garbage which can be transformed into waste. What comes out of waste? Energy. But you must have a driving force of like, I'm not comfortable with where I am. One will say that, but the Holy Book says that be content. I normally tell them that you have two choices. You're going to die as Barnabas, rather Lazarus, or you're going to die as Abraham. Choose one. Both are in heaven. They are looking at us. Which one do you choose? I tell them, I'm not going to go to heaven as Lazarus. I'm going there as Abraham. And there is no sin in acquiring wealth as long as it is legit. Diversification of revenues. Somebody once told me, but Doc, you are a jack of all trades, but a master of none. I told a person that I didn't go to graduate school because I needed a job. No. By 20, I was in a top corporate. 22 came up the product, which elevated me to senior management. But I had to leave because I felt it was confining me. So, with my bachelor's, I could have risen through the ranks. But to me, it was like, okay, the one thing I want to assure you, that person was talking to me, I told them that, look here, what is your specialty? That I am an engineer. Okay. Do you know that you can be a lawyer as an engineer? Do you know that you can be a teacher? Do you know that you can be a broker or a trader? And they're like, all that, how do I coordinate all that stuff? I tell them exactly, that's where the difference lies. That I am a jack of all trades, but I am 50% more knowledgeable about that trade than the specialist in that trade. That I have acquired knowledge through reading and information, through gathering research and understanding. If we go into the mineral sector, we shall speak minerals. If we go into agriculture, we shall speak agriculture. If we go into energy, we shall speak about energy. But not forgetting that my purpose there is finance and investment. If we go into technology, that will be the talk. So, creativity is very important, but also diversification equally important. Because if anybody on this platform was alive during the COVID pandemic, knew why companies and people went down who were specialists, and probably gave up on that. That now they think diversification. A diversity, to we investors, entrepreneurs, business persons, we see it as opportunity. Where there is a death, we see an opportunity. What is the opportunity? Funeral services. Funeral service companies, how much money do they make? But there's a death which has occurred. You get it? So, at times, you're gonna be forced to take a detour. Account for it. You have a plan. For example, you're a maize grower, or you're a typical employee in some company. Let's say a gas company, a telecom company, in government, or where. That's why I talked about the 14 hours. Do your 8 hours, but don't overstrain on the 8 hours, because chances are you're limiting yourself. Start small by creating another revenue stream, but in the 9th hour and the 10th hour. By the time you get to 14 hours, the mind will have gotten accustomed to that. You don't just jump from 8 hours and end up into 14 hours. It is more of, I'm here doing a job at a company that pays me salary such that I can put food on the table. But apart from Social Security Fund, what is the kind of life I want in my retirement? Do I want to start running around calling my children for help? No. For me, at least, no. That what I invest for them is theirs. What I invest for me is mine. What I invest for the community is for the community. So I tell them that those who know me a bit know that my most active hours are from midday to 3 a.m. And those hours, I'm looking at multiple time zones. But it didn't just come. It's something you groom into yourself. That's why I say that self-pity and complacency is a very bad recipe to life. That, oh, I have to rest, I have to sleep. Yes, we all rest. Those who work with me know that in my offices I have beds. I'll just alert them that I need a nap. Divert all my calls or figure out what to tell the people. That I need a nap, what they call power nap. So all my offices, there will be a bed. Because at that time, I'll feel that I'm not productive. But if I take a nap, 1 hour, I'll get up fresh to continue. What about the business side? The business side of it is, let me tell you a secret. And this secret, keep it forever or write it somewhere. Always look out for revenue streams that are not going to strain you. 1, you can own 1 share in a company out of your savings. That share, when they're giving out dividends, don't take the dividends. Give them instruction, reinvest my share, and leave that alone for 10 years. And me how much your stock. The other part of it is buy out companies. You don't buy out companies, you wake up and say, I want to buy this company. No, there are many struggling companies and they are at selling point. I once told somebody that, you know what? I acquired a $9 million property in California without a single dollar. How was I able to do that? Because when I go to California, I looked out who is who. And who is who? Was not the Beverly Hills, the Hollywood, Disney, San Francisco people. I looked out how do I penetrate the governor's office. Just the connection with the governor. For him to get me a recommendation to anywhere. And it's on a US that I walk into a bank and say, I've identified property with property company. This is the amount and I'm ready to purchase it. They're like, okay, let's fill out the paperwork. You need to deposit 30%. And then we access you a mortgage. And then you need the residence permit because now you are an owner of property in the country. I'm like, okay. So I tell them, yeah, I have the money. In their mind, they were thinking that, okay, I'm going to get onto the phone and try to get back from some account somewhere. I have the money, but the money is in my bag. They're like, wait a minute. We have to trace where you got that money from. I told them, you don't trace where I got money from because nobody traces where I got money from to pay for my PhD in California and my PhD in Florida. What they do is receive their payment. Just so that I work somehow and get money. So they said, okay, let's see the money. We go to the machines and count. I tell them that, look here, actually the money is on paper. In the mind of the bankers or the financial institution, they are thinking of a standby letter of credit, a letter of credit, a bank guarantee, insurance guarantee. That's what I'm giving them. What do? I pull out a letter with the United States seal from the office of the governor recommending me for assistance in anything I should need in that state. Already I had gotten into the network of the mayors of the different counties. Asked them for letters. I presented that to the bank. Immediately they saw the seal of the US. Their attitude totally changed. We then went to a totally different room, and everything was paperwork, sign here, and I told them, okay, so what next? Like, property is yours, but we are holding the deed until you say the property is going to generate income to pay itself. And I'm like, that's fine. That was 2016, 2017. They say that, okay, we're giving you between 5 and 10 years what you wish to take. I told them, let's go by 7 years. Now, 2017 to date is what? Plus now, we're in 2024, which means we are running the 7th year. What did I acquire from a network? When they say your network is your net worth, never disrespect that statement. That figure out how to get into networks. This professional network group, I have seen and attracted multiple people whom I've introduced to King and Wilberforce and the rest. People who hold billions. And I tell them that, King, you can only blame yourself, never blame God. If at all you don't reach the mark. Partnerships and collaborations. I speak to young people who tell me that, no, somebody will steal my idea. I'm like, my dear, you're not an inventor. You're a creator. You're innovative. All what you're bringing to us has been done before. You're just refining it. So, if you have an idea, share with those you trust and see how you can collect revenue. Because never start a business with try to start with friends, relatives. Because at least you generate capital. But the key capital you have is your mind. If mentally you're not creative, trust me, if you're these people who are not agile, trust me, that club is filled with people who wake up each day thinking, how do I push myself to the limit? The scientists here, please, you can advocate. Over 98% of people sleeping or lying 6 foot down underground dead have never used beyond 20% of their brain capacity. How do you grow the brain? The brain does not grow in size. You push it to the limit and it starts accommodating space of that pressure. That the brain is used to a certain routine, that means the brain is expanding, and you're expanding your spheres. Finally, as we go into plenary, I want to say that nobody was born to be poor. Everybody has 24 hours. How you embrace the 24 hours, double check your background, check your mindset, check your attitude, check the people you hang around, check your principles and values. Those who know me in many circles know that for me, there are certain things which people see as normal, and I tell them I don't tolerate nonsense. And incidentally, I am a free will person. I will tell you the bitter truth because that's what I want to receive from anybody, than I tell you a sugar-coated lie. People leaving Uganda going to the Middle East in search of jobs. Whenever I'm at the airport in Entebbe, in my mind I'm like, oh God, please, can you just touch the spirit of somebody or a parent or somebody just to let these kids, these people know that a country like Uganda, a country like Nigeria, a country, all these countries are old. But how do you get into the circles of the endowment? Business is a process. You start with ideation, conceptualization, you prototype, you pilot, you do refinement, then come and roll out. And the cycle resumes again. And at some point, money starts, all you get are statements. 2004, well, last time I lived in Uganda, before relocating back, I ended up in Kenya. The stock market was so booming in Kenya that I had to ask to learn how to trade. My first crash was the first investment I did on my own until I said, no, I need specialists to advise me. I invested in a company that in 1 week, it lost 80% or 85% of its stock. All I had worked for went down. I was like, that was around the time I raised money in different ways. I was juggling different jobs, doing different businesses here, there, to raise more money. Then came everyone what they know. The IPO of Stanbic Bank. Stanbic Bank did an IPO, initial public offer. Few people in Uganda understood exactly what a public offer is. That why would a bank sell out stocks or its shares to people? I was living in Kenya. And my advisor told me that, Clark, yes, you know what? Stanbic is doing an IPO. The market hottest deal. So why actually pull out half of your stocks because I already started investing in multiple companies. I have left those shares to multiply for my older age and my growth in shareholding in multiple companies has continued now over what, 10, 15 years? But he told me, let's sell half your stock, raise money, go and buy, I think it was 15 shilling, Uganda shilling. I think it's about 15 Uganda shilling. I told him, are you very sure? He said, I am sure. He said, to know that I am sure, you're going to represent all my clients in Kenya, and then they'll go under your name because foreigners have a limit. You're national, but you charge commission on all those that you're representing under your name. I don't know how much stocks we bought. That's confidential. But people were wondering, who is this Ugandan who shows up and wants almost to take a third of the stake of a whole IPO? But of course, there was no rule against how much I could take. The advisor, and that's why I'm telling you about mentoring coaching. The advisor said, Clark, yes, it has gone to 25. It has gone to 45. It has gone to 65. Clark, keep your phone on. Anytime, 24/7. I'm going to call you. He told me, Clark, it has dropped to 60. It has dropped to 55. He told me, do we sell? Give me. I told him, maybe it will go back up. Told me, Clark. I started dropping. That's a fluctuation point. It went to 65. It is at around 50 to 55. Clark, let's sell. I told him, sell now. I told him, maintain, which was now, of course, like a giveaway. Get, when you get 55 minus 15, so shillings per share of the hundreds of thousands of shares that is going to get commission from. We sold. When we sold, for me, the rest is history. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
There are some few things that I've noticed out of your presentation, and I can just give them out such takeaways as they prepare their questions for you. Just give them on such questions. I'm Steven, and there are two takeaways here I have to tell you. In Dr. presentation, I have learned that for us to be billionaires, we have to write down the principles that governs our life. Secondly, I've just learned that ourselves, we have to find paths that suits our nature. Then the other point is, we have to discover our strength, the weakness, the value, and what motivates us.
And then another point is we have to collaborate with people who are strong where we are weak. And then another thing which is last but not least out of his presentation, of course, much as he will tell you more, is that business leaders, like who are billionaires, they have some few things, maybe like around three, that are common amongst them. One, they have appetite for clever risk taking. Secondly, they have a business focus. The third one, they have determination to pursue what they are craving for. So, as we break off for another section, please prepare a few of your questions that you have used like 2 to 3 minutes to everyone. Prepare the questions that we are going to ask doctor, and doctor will answer them. Will you prepare your guiding questions, please, as you notice people who could be having questions and you let them in. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, Amro. And I would say that to do business, you have to be entrepreneurial, right? Not the other way around. You can be an enterprising person in developing products for your employer. But business, when you say, I'm going to start a business, where do I start from? The starting point is it has triggered in your mind. Business is, I tell people that business is a mind game. Mind, then it is going to be a challenge. So when we talk about where does one start from, they have the idea, they have but they lack the resources. For example, I already told you, don't get tempted to start a business because that is going to create you more stress than you have ever imagined, that you will hate business. But the process I gave you, the ideation, conceptualization, prototype, the pilot, the refinement, rollout, then the cycle resumes, gives you a learning curve. Where do you get the resources? You get the resources from past savings, friends, relatives. Start small. And starting small, for example, if I have a pancake store, I know about almost 30 stations. He was vending pancakes in a white gown, white car in Uganda, a white old Suzuki car, and with music. Everybody waited for him to go for pancakes. That was his business. He started with the resources he gathered. He had saved some money. Pancake was the business he felt he could start with, and he made them more different from other pancakes, putting some spices, and he went and positioned himself in key areas where there is huge traffic. For example, taxi parks, student areas, you get it? So, as the pancake man, I mean, like, nobody did know the pancake man. The time it will come, it will stop, people line up and queue. That was even before cell phones got so popular. When the cell phones got popular, but remember, he was generating capital. And in generating capital, he realized that he can't alone, but to even onboard others. I've seen, which I started from almost nothing, is what they call this, initially they call it halal. Okay. Somebody started it, actually a graduate friend of mine, said, you know what, me, I'm just tired of being employed. He started a chicken shed with a huge charcoal stove, roasting chicken, and people coming. So he started with what from friends and relatives. So you must start from somewhere. I told you that when you're counting $1 billion, nobody, no machine starts from billion 999 They start from one note. One goes through the machine, second note, third note, fourth note, fifth note. That's the principle. And about your other question about ideas being stolen or they take them over, please try to establish intellectual property laws. If it does not exist in your country, try to Google. Now technology is there that you can Google. If an IP or a patent or copyright is registered internationally in another country, it covers all jurisdictions if it does not exist in your country. I know music people. By the way, for information, I'm a producer. I write songs, I put songs, I do backup vocal. So when I'm in studio, the first thing I do with any artist is we need to register the IP of what? Of my beats, and two, the song lyrics, and then your brand as a person going to perform the song, which protects quite a lot. So you find that there are some songs you're not going to find playing, just blasting anywhere in a commercial area. Even radio stations, TV stations have to pay royalties to play that music. You get it? For the creatives and arts, already King said that Doc holds a very influential position for the US Africa Trade and Investment Commission. I'm also a global representative for the Asian bloc. I also represent the UK Africa Trade and Investment. So you see that somehow, for some it's divine, but you must wake up to meet your divine encounter. But IP, patent, copyright, never forget that. If I registered in the USA, it will hold in Uganda. If I register it in Uganda now as an international brand, it will hold in the USA, or it will hold even in Serbia or Russia or China. And you get it? And anybody who replicates it has to pay royalties. For starting the business, start with what you have. Practice business first before you go into gross business, if you can't manage $1,000, no, $1,000 is much. If you can't account for $100, you will never, trust me, I'm a financial economist, you will never be able to account for $1 million or even $1 billion. That's why there is no jackpot win you can tell me right now confidently that this one won a jackpot and is a millionaire, a billionaire. It starts from somewhere. Thank you.
First, thank you
Wilberforce,
very much.
any other questions?
It's running out, so I want to be speedy about my keynotes and highlights. Well, your detailed presentation has almost answered everything. Maybe I can highlight a few of the takeaways for the members, and also remember the members around the room. I have left the guiding questions and our theme, the general chat, so please consider looking or checking such questions for guidance. Then, Doctor, thank you once again very much. These are some of your key points that I was able to pick up to answer the questions I had laid down in the chat. You talked about Lazarus, your story about Lazarus and Abraham, which brings out the spiritual principles that you could hold in guiding in my mentorship. Of course, taking I myself in particular. Obviously, it reminds me about Lazarus, and Lazarus would be picking food from the table. That would be like self-pity that you highlighted. We need to wake up and try to use our minds to think and look far and take action. Number two, you talked about the 24 hours all of us have, and you highlighted that we also have time to think, do voluntary work, socialize, and sleep, irrespective of the tasks we have at hand. That was something amazing that I also need to borrow and put in my DRO rather than in my notebook. The next question was about the opportunities that may arise from the connections. Yeah, you talked about the networking idea. I liked about that. I just need to put more emphasis on it. And I urge the rest of the members to do the same. Then about the principles to be upheld, especially for individuals new to trading. There is something you mentioned about your age at 6 and your auntie, something like that, when you are doing something like milk trading. And you mentioned another thing like, I will move with you. When your aunt told you, I will move you with you so that you can begin to, familiarize how businesses do work. It's something very specific and important that when you want to start out something, you familiarize with some of the people who have already made it somewhere so that you can cope up with the situation. Then the other thing I also remembered is there is a psychological book I was reading, and he mentioned that the environment always provides the information and opportunities, but if you are not able to comprehend and understand, interpret it, then it becomes invisible to you. So I also came to realize that we also need to open our minds to see such kind of opportunities that begins from our environments not far from us. Then I will try to conclude with some of the few notes. So when we talked about diversification or opening new streams of income, you gave us a good example of how to invest in companies, shares, and buying out well-performing companies, not failing ones. Yeah, that was also something paramount. And you also highlighted as the last one, your key capital is our minds. And again, we need to check our mindset, social network, and background. I would continue, but Doctor, thank you so much for all those insights that I think can answer all of my questions that I was able to ask in the our network WhatsApp. Thank you. I beg submit.
Nobody was born to be poor. Your network is your net worth. Cease opportunities. Stop self-pity and complacency. Act now. You can blame yourself, not God, if you don't hit the mark. Are you meant to be an entrepreneur? It's a question of your mindset and attitude. These, among other principles, will be our foundation going forward in this channel, and I will practically show you how to do that no matter how long it takes. Congratulations, therefore, for watching this far. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell icon to stay updated for our future videos.